Right, guys, hello. Welcome to the podcast. Yes. Unbelievable tension. Wall of sound. I just got done listening to the Charli album for the second time. And for reference for everybody, it's the year of 2026. And so I'm, of course, talking about the Wuthering Heights album. Yeah. I listened to the first song and then I said, oh, we're talking about art. We're talking about art here. We're talking about, I don't want to steal. I mean, I'm not above stealing, but steal another one of Mike's isms. Michael Mikerson's isms. A mechanism, if you will. He's a mechanical engineer. Okay, I know a lot about this man I don't know in real life. The Michael Mikerson ism is high concept art. Was it high concept art? Like, I don't know that I would say that. But it's concept art. Like, that's for fucking sure. Oh my god, my posture, horrible. Okay, I did something unprecedented and I saved that gum for later. And no, that truly is unprecedented because I do not get that much life out of gum, and so it's likely that I hit the gum's threshold of completion for me, I guess. I hit that very quickly. Very, very unlike how you say people who are not only children. It feels very like only children behavior to not chew the gum as long as possible. Don't know. Call back to last episode. Whatever. Welcome to Gab with Sab. I'm your host, Sabrina Stengler, and this is episode 13, and I'm recording it on February 13th, 2026. Everybody's clapping. Everybody, yes. Everybody go comment Friday the 13th. Comment if you're here on the 13th. Unlikely that I'll upload this episode tonight, of course. Whatever. I'll post it on the 14th. And you'll know, I'll know. Watch it with your Valentine. Speaking, everybody, listen. Speaking of Friday, February the 13th, Friday the 13th of February, today, as we've established. One of the bands that I represent, Modern Haunting, released a single today, and so that's the music shout out in addition to the Charli album. Down in the below, I'll link that shit on YouTube Music, which I learned that I'm getting for free. I thought that not for free. I pay for YouTube Premium, but I pay for that so that I don't have ads on my YouTube videos because I value my time. And it's not that expensive. I say as someone who's been bitching about money for the last, 12 episodes. It's a purchase that I justify, and I justify it every month. It's like $12. And no ads, for considering that I watch, for one, a lot of content, and for two, a lot of very long content, like very long form videos that have, several mid-rolls. I'm like, get your bag. Like, I want my creators to be supported, and I've always said that, but I'm willing to pay YouTube Premium so that they get good AdSense on their video from YouTube Premium, and then I don't actually have to watch the ads. Like, I've heard that people with Premium deliver like a higher value in AdSense. So that's a rumor, that's a word on the street, and I don't know if it's true, and I'm not gonna fact check it. Okay, you guys, I'm out of breath. Like, I'm finding myself winded from this experience, and I did already take a walk today, and so I feel like my lungs should be primed, but maybe my sinuses are still a little bit, stuffy sinuses. Oh my god, Millie's on the ground. And you can't see her, but I can. Just know she's there. I'll throw a picture of Millie up on the screen right now, okay, visual listeners. For the visual listeners. We should actually be spelling visual with a D. Because you're about to see this dick. That's a CD joke. Okay, physical media. Okay. I have burned a few CDs lately, because there are some of the radio stations here in Milwaukee that operate off of physical media, and I'm like, that is so cute. That is so cool. Love that. So I I guess I kind of did. I burned a disc. I burned a compact disc. Now, and then I wrapped them in these cute little cardstock sleeves. Colin's mom got me some colorful cardstock for Christmas. Big shout out. Huge shout out to her. It's one of my favorite gifts because I keep using it. I've never had this much variety like at my disposal. I've like truly been able to pick like the perfect orange, which is crazy. And there's like 5 oranges. It's kind of crazy. And then of course yellow, which some are saying is in the orange family. I'm a cyan, yellow, magenta rejectioner, non-believer. I'm a cyan, yellow, and magenta non-believer. Actually, I believe in the orange, green, purple triad. That's crazy. Yeah, I believe in secondary colors. I've never really been a fan of the, powers that be. I'm kind of an anti-institutionalist in that way. I'm just saying shit today. I just put some nasal product up my schnoz, and we're hoping that that's going to make a big difference, I think, in the audio. I'm really hoping so. Speaking of audio changes, I did add one of the, foam microphone caps. So my microphone is looking more phallic than ever. Some are saying that, and I think it's her. So of course she said that, and that's what she said. No, but so hopefully this is an improvement on the audio from last time. Last time Colin handed me this microphone, and because I'm a supportive spouse, I trusted him when he said, "Take that thing off, you probably don't want it." Not a verbatim quote, but I will say I just blindly trusted him. I said he's an audiophile, he knows what he's talking about. And I'm hoping that he's wrong, because I feel like there was this kind of background hum in episode 11. And then I don't know if it's just my voice resonating with the roof of my mouth. And maybe what I'm trying to say is that my voice sounds nasally. And I am choosing to believe that it's the microphone's fault and not my actual voice. So hopefully an improvement to the audio quality. I also made an improvement to my filming setup. You guys don't care. I'm going to cut that out because it's been told to me by viewers of this podcast, listeners, if you will, that I need to stop doubting myself. And basically, I'm done doing that. But I'm going to tell you about my setup because I have LED lights, a rope LED lights that I have wrapped around a picture frame containing a mirror. And I've got the multicolored ones on, so it's a very visually stimulating for me right behind the camera. And so that's going to be perfect, not only because, as I said, it's visually stimulating for me, and that's necessary because this is what? My podcast. And secondly, it makes the background a little bit illuminated, whereas for episode 12, I had this sunset light on that I have on today. That's why you're getting the aura around me that is I'm an angel and I'm magical and beautiful. But then the rest of everything was pitch black, and because this is actually kind of shining right in my face, it made it so that I could not see the background. And so now that that light is on, I can see the background, and I don't know, it's just the little things. I love not feeling totally isolated and on a stage. And maybe that is on me not doing theater in high school when I should have. Maybe I wouldn't feel this way, but whatever. Okay, so getting straight into it 10 minutes into the episode. That's my guess. Last time it was 5 minutes when I guessed that. So we'll drop a comment. I'll drop a little thing that says when we actually get straight into it. And what I'll drop is actually a chapter. And I'll actually do the chapters after I drop the video. I'm sorry that I didn't do that for episode 12 right away. So if you were counting on those chapters to navigate the video, they were not there. They were in your time of need. I was not there. But they're there now. So they're not on Spotify. But you know what? We're kind of on a fuck Spotify train right now because of the whole ICE thing going on. I don't know how they did something in support, and I have not fact checked it. And you know what? Maybe I should. I don't have my phone because my phone's recording. But so my friend, beloved listener of the podcast, Cotter, was like, "Do you want to go in on a title family plan? Potentially, because we're already on a family phone plan. Anyway, we're on a Spotify. Yes. We're on a fuck Spotify train. Even my mom canceled Spotify. She texted me and she was like, "I just canceled Spotify." And I was like, "Girl, why?" Because I had not heard the news. I had not heard the good word. And so, you could say I basically still haven't heard it because I forgot what she said. And whatever it was, it didn't inspire me to cancel it on the spot, and that says whatever it says about me. But I've been listening on YouTube Music is the moral of the story. And YouTube Music, it's going to get edited out, but I had a long pause there because it is not my favorite tool to use, and it makes me want to apply at YouTube so that I can be let me make this product better for you. And that is me putting my puss behind my abilities as a software engineer and a user experience engineer, if you will. So it's me putting my puss there, and I feel like I need a little bit of an extra puss in my walk, a little bit more cunt in my strut. And because I was interviewing at Blue Sky and they filled the position, and I was like, okay, okay, whatever. And I'm only a little bit salty about it because my interview got delayed a week, my like second interview, because their system like messed up and scheduled me with the wrong person. And so we had to kick it back a week. And then wouldn't you know it, the position gets filled. And so I don't know, again, like maybe they're letting me down easy. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. They're said they'd keep me in mind for future opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so something else I wanted to talk about is that I'm in a bit of like a fashion lull. And you know what? Before I say that, I wanted to address the Velma in the room, which is that I cut my hair. I cut my hair again, and the last time I cut my hair, I was wearing a hat in the video. Now you get, this is the first look. This is the first peek. I sent a picture to Colin, but this is the first peek at my new do, and it's not new at all. This is how I cut my hair like every couple months. And so I just did a trim, and I actually trimmed some of my like face framing pieces so that it wasn't just like short bang immediately to long. I wanted there to be some like flow there. And so I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments, but be nice, not allowing any hate in my comments. Your comment, if you say something that hurts my feelings, I'm gonna delete it, like probably, or I'll reply and be like, you sound so silly. I'll hurt the comment and then I'll be like, dumb. I'm just saying that people who say that I'm ugly should not be trusted. They should not be trusted. So let me know what you think. Positive comments only. And now we'll get into my fashion lull. And so you'll notice my outfit for the visual listeners. This is quite casual. But I'm wearing maroon sweatpants, and then I'm wearing like a waffle knit long sleeve that's in a kind of like stone gray, like a very light heathered gray, like almost quite white, but it's not. And then I've got white socks on because the shirt is almost white, and I wanted my socks to be long enough that you couldn't see my leg. Because we're not giving away leg pics for free. Not on my internet. Not on my Christian internet. Not on my Wisconsin Lutheran internet. Wisconsin Lutheran is what my mom was raised under. The Wisconsin Lutheran Church, WLC, okay? We don't like them. They're extreme. So, not my faves. Like, thanks for the generational trauma, fucking assholes. Anyway, thankfully my mom undid. She had her religious trauma, and then she broke free. I've got to break free. She deconstructed. Thankfully my mom deconstructed so that by the time she was raising me, I was primed to become an atheist, and now I am. So that's the atheist pipeline, all right? But so that's to say that, like, my outfit is not exactly adventurous, and oh my god, my necklace isn't even showing, but my style has been kind of like me falling back on like what I know and what I know that I do well. Like, it has been good color combos, and I wore the red pants in part because I'm sitting on a green chair and I wanted to contrast what I was sitting on. Like, I can't wear my green pants on my green chair because then I'm gonna blend into the background, and so we can't have that, not on this Wisconsin Lutheran podcast. And what's up my fashion lull? I just like have not been feeling ambitious, and part of it is because it's winter, it's cold, and so I am usually, I guess you could say that I am being posed with the challenge of layering, and for some reason I am not feeling ambitious in that category. I'm just like layering on the things that I know that I like. So I have a tank top on underneath the long sleeve, and the long sleeve is cropped so you can kind of see the little mustard yellow peek out, and then it looks, the dark red pants, kind of like ketchup and mustard, but like chic. And so anyway, you could say I'm still serving. I've still got some cunt in my strut. I've still got some I've got some vag in my saunter. And so I'm not feeling ambitious, but I am feeling stylish, but it has lent itself to me not wanting to take pictures of myself, like document my outfits in the same way. Like, I got really excited taking pictures of my outfit in the fall, I think. And just like over the last couple years, it's been something I do kind of like whenever I dress up. I'm always like, should I get a picture? And I have been talking myself out of it lately because I'm kind of recycling the same outfits kind of front to back. And front to back, like beginning of the week, end of the week. I am sometimes, reusing outfits one day to another. And I would say I'm doing that often, especially if it's like a weekend and I'm seeing different people and I like didn't really do something. Like if I went outside, or if I admit to you guys that I went to Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, not sponsored, don't go there. Do as I say, even though I do it. But if I go to Pato, I will not wear those clothes again, because that, in my head, Pato is a filthy, disgusting place. Not because it's a bad or like unkept place, but just because the nature of it being a casino. I'm like, people are fucking touching shit. People are sitting on all these chairs. Like, the number of people that flow through a casino actually blows my mind. Like, having gone to casinos in Vegas, I'm like, why is that same volume of people churning through the Potawatomi Hotel and Casino in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? Like, there's a lot of people. It's probably not the same volume, obviously. There's smaller institutions. There's smaller venues and establishments. But it would surprise you, I think, and it would surprise me too, even though I'm sitting here saying I'm predicting and believing it. Like, how many people go through a damn casino? And so how many people are touching and sitting on the set? And so anyway, that is a reason why I don't reuse my clothes after I go to the casino. And that feels like a low bar. I just don't like the idea of continuing to carry those germs around. It feels like a little irresponsible. And some would say I'm taking myself too seriously. But that's just kind of how I do it. And that's why we love this podcast. I had been itching a week ago to like really yap, like to really full on gab with Sab. Like, I was truly bursting at the seams, and I did not record an episode, and so I was hoping that I'd have that same energy today. I did not have the same energy, but I feel like I'm yapping nonetheless, like, and I'm having a good time. I did smoke a cigarette. Oh my god, you guys. And you're gonna look at me like that when I say I smoked a cigarette? Come on. Whatever. I smoked half a cigarette, and then halfway through the episode, you know what I'm gonna do? Smoke the other half. And there we go. And that's on moderation. And that's also on me using half of a cotton filter instead of a full cotton filter. That shit hits harder. That's the thing about rolling your own cigarettes, is you can choose how much you get. Like I can choose how much of that filter I put in. And that was something that I had not been really playing with before, but I cut a bunch of my cotton filters in half, because I was going to do a half paper, half cotton filter, but it turns out that is not very stable and secure for you to grab and like put your lips on and stuff. It like falls apart and they're too short. It's like having too many joints it's too many joints, like elbows in the cigarette, but joints in a joint as well. Jeez, I'm on one. I'm like connecting thoughts and ideas. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna have the other half of that cigarette in due time. I want to get through all of my notes here first. And the last one is that I want to talk about, actually I've got two things. One of them is that slayyyter, Slayyyter, Slayyyter's on the up. I've heard it from two of my most coveted music sources, my musical sources, people who I know, like I respect their taste, and who had like been on Slayyyter. They've been like, Slayyyter's on the up. So music shout out is Screaming in the Basement from Modern Haunting, keep up, and then Crank from Slayyyter with 3 Y's on YouTube Music in specific. Get into it. Slayyyter. In fact, I might listen to it while I smoke the cigarette, because that's just, oh my god, it's such a good song. Crank it! I keep my finger on the trigger! Yeah, I don't know if I talked about Slayyyter last episode, but I'm still on it. I haven't listened to it, but it's been in my mind grapes. Not on, like, the forefront of my mind grapes. I think what's been on the forefront of my mind grapes has been Lizzy McAlpine. Wow. Ugh. Like, I did not listen to 5 Seconds Flat, her first album. I had like listened to some of the singles off of it, and because she played some of them at Bonnaroo, and so as somebody who entered into her discography at the most recent album, I was like surprised and delighted by her older work, and I like listened through more of the songs on 5 Second Flat, and guys, Erase Me and Reckless Driving, I have literally been running back to back to back to back to back to back to back, and I'm not joking. I put the repeat this one song on, and I go back and forth between those songs, and I sing the whole time because it's so good, and it's so like it just like scratches my little ear. It like crawls in my ear and scratches my little eardrum. It says like, I knew you had that itch, and girl, I'm here to scratch it. And so and then when I am able to like replicate that sound, at least in my own ears, okay, I've not decided that I'm not tone deaf. I like still feel like that could be true. It's something I used to worry about more, but now I feel more confident that I'm not tone deaf. That said, I know that I'm not like a perfect singer. Like, I'm far from having perfect pitch. And so I'm not. So when I'm able to like achieve something sonically, I'm like, yes. Like, it feels like I have been putting effort into it, and I feel achievement. And so you could say singing is a hobby of mine. Yeah, singing is a hobby. And maybe it'll stay that way forever. Who's to say? I might have my celebrity art. Like, if I gain celebrity, God forbid I get famous. Oh my God. And I have access to, I don't know. I was going to say access to like what a record label or something like that does. But then I'm like, we at Go Fish are doing similar stuff. Like doing the promo and that kind of stuff for bands. So like, God forbid I get big, I will have a music career, and I ought to be well connected at that point and be able to really execute. So like, I just need to prioritize songwriting. I was telling this to one of my friends this week, like, that I just haven't like sat down to do dedicated writing time. Like, I have notes and I have like scraps of songs, and so I feel that what is barring me from the next step is like putting dedicated energy into fleshing ideas out, trying to put them with music instead of just like lyrics or what have you. And so anyway, my music arc is gonna come before I get famous, maybe. Who's to say? I know you guys are begging. I know you're beating down my door asking me to produce music. You're asking me to churn out more sound into the world, because you say, Sabrina, oh my God, you have such a unique perspective, you have such a beautiful voice, and just like, we're on the edge of our seats like waiting for you to deliver. And so I am gonna stop holding back on y'all. I'm gonna stop holding back. Oh my God. And you know what's really funny is, obviously I'm saying this into the void to like an imaginary audience, and like I do have, like, I know there will be a couple people who listen to this, and so I know that I have an audience, but I want to clarify that I'm also in the audience, and that's kind of the point. Because two things. One is that I'm gonna watch my video, one, I'm gonna edit my video, which means that I will be rewatching it, and I'll watch my video after I've edited it, and I'm gonna have to do that to do the chapters. But I do go back to my own videos. I said this to someone too, that I was like, that's like my biggest red flag, is that I watch my own content, and that's my cross to bear. That's my cross to bear, and I have to live with that. So, and so does everybody else. Everyone else has to live with that. And maybe I could stand to pump my own tires. Like, why not? Why not pump my tires? Somebody's got to pump them. How am I going to get across town if I don't have tires that are pumped? Gotta have like 33 PSI, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I can see too much now. I'm no longer wearing glasses. I've seen enough. I've seen plenty, and I would like to go back to seeing less. So, anyway, I am going to take a little break, get a little snacky poo, maybe smoke a little cigarette-y poo, and we'll be right back. Happy birthday to you. Shout out if it's your birthday. I just recently saw a memory where Colin and I were at this restaurant, and there was a hibachi bar. We were not sat there. we were in a booth, and so we were also the only other people in this restaurant, and so they started singing Happy Birthday in the tune that I just did a rendition of. You're welcome. And it was also my birthday, and so I was like, happy birthday to you. So this reminds me of like the specific shout outs, and so I'm going to do something that I do every episode, and I'm going to plug oh my god. I'm going to plug Woodland Pierville. His name is not Wildland Pierce, like my previous episodes would indicate. Sorry to Woodland. Woodland Pierville. That is his name. And so anyways, he's doing content this Black History Month. Woodland is famously black. And so he is, not that it super matters. I think it does. I think it was relevant. Okay, so he's doing Black History Month content where he specifically shouts out or like says, you know, happy Black History Month to blank, 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 blank. A list of different places. And he shouted out Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was like, yeah, I know that's right. And I know that has nothing to do with me. Like, probably it is to do with the fact that there are a lot of black people in Milwaukee. It's like, and it's also famously like the most segregated city in the U.S. And so it's pretty bad here. It's pretty bad. And I do happen to be on the other end of that as a white person. And so as much as I want to believe that Woodland saw that I have shouted him out in my content, that I have done the gracious honor of shouting him out to my 49 subscribers. Shout out to you guys. And so I know that it is not because of that, and that is not why he shouted out Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And it seems that this content has been planned and executed. I don't know like how quickly he did this, but it's quite good content. Like, I'm saying it like it's just like, oh, it's just shout outs for Black History Month, but they are very funny. They're funny, they're silly, and they're high production value, and that's something I can get behind. Like, doing the most to do the silliest. Important. Anyway, glasses off. I've seen too much. I've seen enough. And now I have my apples and my peanut butter. My apples and my peanut butter on my side table. Where am I going to put my glasses? The glasses go on the floor. Am I going to remember they're there? I don't know, but they're protected because they're under the table. And under the table is kind of exactly where I'm trying to do business. And if you're seeing this and I have applied for a business loan, no, I am not. I'm not doing anything under the table. I'm doing everything on top of the table. Encima de. Yeah. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. There we go. That's what it is. So anyways, you can see evidence of my unconscious bias in everything that I do because it's what we call pervasive. And so pervasive in that it applies to every aspect of my life. Like, I do not get to live outside of racism. It is always here. And I was born and bred into it. And it's my duty to unlearn it. And that's all I've got to say on that. Let's get into the topics. You may also notice, if you're watching the video version of this podcast, that I have removed my slippers, but the dogs are not out. The dogs are, they're here, and they're like growling, but they're not barking. So last episode, the first episode of 2026, I was talking about doing an in and out format, and I ended up not sticking to that. But I do have some things that are out that I wanted to talk about, and I'm squinting because they're on my screen, and I want to see them. And so I'm seeing them now through my lenses. One thing that's out is the Oxford comma, and this is controversial, I know. And I will tell you as much. I think that it makes sense sometimes, but I don't think it makes sense to principally use all the time. If I talked about this in my episode 11, apologies, but if you've not watched that, then congratulations. Oh my god, you wrote such a great hit song, congratulations. Oh my god, this song slaps so hard, congratulations. We're going out tonight, gang gang. I just gang-ganged on Black History Month, come on. Like, but so anyway, the Oxford comma is out sometimes because I feel sometimes like it looks so extraneous. And the Oxford comma, like, is something that I would have put my cuntusy behind 1,000,000% in, like, high school, for example. I was all about the Oxford comma, and it was also, like, the talk of the town. People were like, the Oxford comma is controversial, but I totally stand by it. And maybe that's because I was in, like, an educational environment. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was in school. I was in K-12 education. I was learning the fundamentals of speech, you know? And so grammar was kind of top of mind. And this is all to say that now in my adulthood, at my big age of 27, I have decided that the Oxford comma just doesn't fit sometimes. As I was saying, it looks just kind of extra. And it's like, we didn't need the comma because we already have the and. Like, there's plenty of text here. There's plenty of, like, visual indicator and like sonic, like I don't think that the comma translates anything to how you would say it all the time. Like sometimes it's like, okay, I get it, like there's a third thing, like we've already indicated the separation here between the second and the third thing because there's an and. So some have said that it like changes the meaning sometimes to add another comma between the second and third word, or between the last and second to last rather, if we want to be list size agnostic, which as a software engineer I think about all the time. Software engineers, shout out the Girls Who Code. Literally, Girls Who Code is an organization that you should support, but the Girls Who Code, literally the girlies. I, speaking of this, got a couple of my friends to like really jump on, and I don't know if it was just me, whatever, but I think it was me. I got a couple of my friends who are like in their late 30s early 40s to start saying girly, like, and so one of them is a man. And so shout out to him. It's Nick. Nick was saying earlier today that he is I don't know what it was actually, but he was effectively saying like, I'm a risk tolerant girly. And I was like, yeah, yep. I think I'm doing good work here. Good work here, both on the podcast and off the podcast. So anyways, the Oxford comma is out sometimes. If you feel strongly about that, let me know in the comments. I doubt you'll change my mind. And this is a challenge. The next thing that's out is doing arms, like arm exercises at all, doing back and buys, because I've learned now that I'm strong enough to rip a door off of its hinges, and that's actually not a tall task. That's not a tall order, and I'm fully capable of that, and so I'll tell you why. This happened on October 31st, Halloween of 2025, a few months ago. I was at my friend's house, who they were having a Halloween party, because I have what an incredible social circle. Oh my god, I'm so popular. So I was at my friend's place for their Halloween party, and their door frame for their bathroom door did not have like the ridge to stop the door, and it didn't make it clear to me, I guess, like that it opened one way or the other. I could not see the hinges, so I should have known that it was a push. But for some fucking reason, I was also high, and I decided that it was a pull door, and I went ahead and just pulled it, and there's no ridge on the door to stop me, so it pulled with me, and then I ripped it off the hinges. And I said, hey guys, was this door always off the hinges? I set it down, I set the door down that I just ripped off the hinges, and I cannot make that clear enough that I like pulled shards of wood out of the door frame. Like, it was not that the hinges separated, it was that the door and the hinges separated from the door frame, not cleanly. And so delusionally, I go back over to the people I was talking to and I say, hey, was that door always broken? Because I knew they were like getting, they had like just set up their apartment. It looked freshly painted. There was like reason for me to believe that things might be awry, but I don't know like what. Speaking of judging myself, like the word that's coming to mind is embarrassed, and embarrassed for ripping my friend's door off its hinges like doesn't even get to that's not even the beginning of it. Like, I felt so silly, but I also felt so strong. I was like, yo guys, what is up with that door? Like, it must have been I don't know, like soft wood, because I am not doing arm exercises. Like, they had exercises back and buys has been out. It was out for 2025. Now in 2026, I actually am doing some like push-ups at night. And so they are the push-ups on your knees, but I feel my arms, exercising. Like, I can feel that I'm doing strength stuff. And so I just like needed a lower threshold than like a full-on push-up to get started with my arm workouts. And so anyway, I don't need to justify why I'm doing half push-ups, but I am doing half push-ups because I am trying to I'm trying to exercise, I'm trying to move my body more, blah 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 blah, whatever. And anyways, my friends were really cool about it. Shout out to my friends Sarah and Peter. They were really chill. They were like almost to the point where they weren't going to tell me that I ripped it off its hinges. And so I like I said that I was high. It's clear that I was very high. Like, I will say I didn't feel super high, but clearly my version of reality, my like reality that I was perceiving was distorted. Like, but then again, I have like talked myself into weirder shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can kind of talk myself into anything, and I'm willing, as long as it's that like, I would say it's weird that it goes both ways, in that I can like talk myself into being the like the perpetrator, like the one that's guilty, the one that's at fault, but I can also talk myself out of that. And so it's kind of a toss up as to like what's going to happen, like how am I going to feel about it. And for some reason in this environment, I was trying to skirt blame, I guess. And I was like, guys, this door has always been off the hinges. I seriously was delusionally running around this party like, what's going on? And then I go see them screw the thing back on. And I was like, guys, you weren't going to tell me that I did this? I'm sorry. Like, I am so sorry. And they're not entitled to hear my apology. Like, I'm not entitled to their forgiveness. And they graciously gave it to me and were like, do not even worry about it. Like, it's so chill. And I was like, you guys, this is your Halloween party and you're screwing the bathroom door back into the door frame. Like, and so for that reason, back and buys is out, but push-ups, half push-ups are in. Okay, the last thing that's out for 2026, as reported a month and a half into 2026. Oh, here he comes. Come here, Bubby. Yay. Yay. Arthur on the podcast. The last thing that's out for 2026 is applying on LinkedIn, and applying on LinkedIn via LinkedIn, because I just have applied to so many jobs via LinkedIn and heard literally nothing. And so I feel, and I already hear virtually nothing when I go apply through the website. And so maybe I'm again like redirecting the problem, but I think it just would be in my best interest. It would be prudent of me to stop relying on the easy apply and actually go apply, because I want a job. And I didn't realize, I guess I got more comfortable with the idea when I was thinking of working for Blue Sky, because I was like, they seem like, that seems like an environment that'd be good for me. Like, it's a small team with like high ownership and high impact, and like I'd get to focus on like solving real user problems, and like it would be really fun. And not like I'm not doing that right now. It's just like, it would be my first time doing that at that scale. Like, I'm used to very early stage products, and that would be at a later stage where like the changes impact users, like, you know, hundreds, millions of users. I think they have like 3 million active users. And so Blue Sky's on the come up too. Slayyyter on the come up, Blue Sky on the come up, also Modern Haunting on the come up. Colin is like all in on Modern Haunting and is like, this guy is going to get big. So Charli, if you're watching this, we believe in you. And more importantly, or more specifically, Colin believes in you. And because he believes in you so fervently, I'm inclined to believe in you that much as well. Okay, now that we've gotten the out of here, I'm going to have a little bite of apple, and then we'll get into the rest of the topic bullet points. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is like philosophy of the world, of life things. That is like, how do I want to move through the world? And and this ties into like how I want to be a good partner and a good friend and a good community member, if you will. And so I think I've been trying to, like, for a long time, I think wrap my head around the idea of marriage and like what that symbolizes, because I think marriage is fraught, at least here in the US, like marriage is fraught with religion. I don't know if fraught with religion is what I mean, but it is inseparable from this kind of like Christian ideal. And that Christian ideal is, you know, heterosexual, it's monogamous, it is the symbol of like these power structures. It's misogynistic, I think. And it's misogynistic in that, like, it used to be that marriage is what would enable a woman to access the world, like, through a man. Whether that was, like, opening a line of credit, whether that was buying a house, whether that was applying for a job. Like, it has been so long that this that this system of marriage has been used as a tool to like oppress women and to erase like queer identity. And so this is something I don't think I'm taking too seriously. I think I'm giving this the amount of respect it is due. And so what I have come around to kind of lately, and what I've come around to as someone who has been in a like monogamous relationship for like 9 years, I have long said like, what is the purpose in marriage? Because we're already kind of living like we're married functionally, like we own this house together, so we're financially bound to one another. We are also obviously like emotionally connected and familially connected, and like our lives are very much intertwined in that way. And so we have always been like, well, marriage isn't going to change anything about our relationship, so like what is the point? And I have also seen like I've been critical of people who get married not like long into their relationship, because I'm like, how do you know that this is somebody that you want to spend your life with? And so what has been reframed to me lately is thinking of it in the like literally in the vows, being like, you know, in sickness and in health, and for richer, for poorer, etc., etc. It is saying to like another person, like I don't, it's not always going to be easy to love you, but I'm determined to try anyway, and to do it. Like I'm determined to love you through hardship and through challenge. And there are obviously like, I'm not trying to be like, my position has not ended up in being like anti-divorce. Like I think that it's crucial that divorce is an option, and that it is not something that is gonna like shun you from your community. Like for example, in like Mormonism, like divorce is very, 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 very frowned upon, and it gets you like excommunicated from the church if you're a woman. And so we can see how the misogyny plays out. But so I've been reframing marriage as like, what I've written here as like, I don't know how to help you, but I'm determined to try and figure out how, or I'm determined to try, and because like your well-being is important to me. And I'm like, who am I to say that, you know, a couple or whatever, like multiple of people aren't committed to that they're not ready to face like hard emotions and work through them, like that I'm not giving them credence. Because it's easy for me to like see marriage, especially between like a man and a woman, like people who are cis het, and see it as like, oh, look at them playing into this power structure, like they and do they even know what they're signing up for? And like, and maybe that's part of me being like a survivor's bias, that like as somebody who has worked through hard challenges in my relationship, like that I'm like, other people aren't ready to do that work. And I think that's pompous of me, truly. I'm saying all this out loud because I like want to be vulnerable here in the like perspective that I have. Like I don't, and what has led me to where I eventually sit now, which is that like I think marriage can be beautiful in that making a commitment to like to try with somebody is what feels like meaningful, and what feels, it's also it's meaningful, but it's like, I guess, you know, what is love, baby, don't hurt me. Like I guess I'm saying like, why can't marriage represent what I see as like the same kind of like commitment that I'm making to my partner Colin, like, or to any like long-term partner. Do you know what I mean? Why was I so averse to the idea of believing that what marriage could mean to me is what it could mean to other people? And so as I was saying in the beginning of this topic, like marriage has a long history of being used as a tool to oppress people, namely women, and erase queer identities. And I don't want to like dismiss that. And so I'm not trying to be like, oh, I fully come around to the idea of marriage and think that everybody should pursue it. But I think that it could be meaningful to me, and it could be meaningful in the scope of my relationship. Like I think that it would, like, getting a house together symbolized like a very big commitment, I think. And because like my partner and I, especially at the time, were like high earners, it was not like we were like lower middle class. Like, and I know that's like the excuse of the century, that I'm like in the middle class, but I'm on the lower side of it. Like, I can tell you right now I'm living at the poverty line, but I own a house, so it's not exactly black and white. But and that's kind of a double entendre because housing is such a racial issue, especially here in Milwaukee, as I was saying. But I felt that buying a house together like was quite a big commitment, but it was like easier than you would think. Like, we did have to put money up front in the sense that we had to do a down payment, and we had to pay some like lumps of money that's similar to when you get married, because Colin and I have looked at getting married. Like, it is not a free process, and it's not a totally easy process, but it struck me that it's like you have to involve other people, and that like you have to be able to get time with someone who's an ordained minister of the state that you're in. Then there's the purchase of the marriage license, and so there's a few ceremonial things, and there's a few costs associated with it, but it all in all is not like a challenging process to go through, but it is like a very big emotional lift to be like, okay, now undoing this is gonna be tough. Whereas like undoing, like if Colin and I were to like break up or choose to not like live together anymore, and thus not like want to contribute 50-50 to our mortgage like the way that we do, it's not impossible. Like, one of us would just buy the other one out, and I think that would mean the person would take on, like, one of us would take on an additional loan to buy the other like 50% of the house, because neither of us has half of the price of our house, because we have like barely started chipping away at our mortgage. Like, we've been homeowners for like 4.5 years, and so I think we're on a 15-year mortgage. And so anyway, whatever, that's all to say that it would be hairy, but we could do it. And that's kind of the same with marriage. Like, it would be hairy, but we could do it, but it seems a lot harder. Like, that's kind of like the devil I don't know. Divorce seems like really fucking hard, and then divorce also has like a very heavy emotional weight, and I think it carries this weight for both of us. I don't want to speak on behalf of Colin, but like both of our parents have been divorced, and have been divorced like since we were children, and so like both of us have feelings about commitment and like marriage ending and divorce, and it being harmful and something that like impacted us negatively, but also positively. Like, I think that divorce is necessary as an option, and obviously I'm not like preying on my own downfall. Like, I don't want to have to get divorced. Like, if I ever do get married, I will not be doing it with the intent that to get divorced like anybody. Like, I don't want to act like I'm unique in that experience. But yeah, it just like would carry much more symbolic weight to like exit a marriage than it would to like exit our home ownership together. So in some ways I feel that we've made a comparable commitment to each other in getting a house together, but I also feel that like a marriage would symbolize something different, and now how precious and how like grateful am I that I get to decide what that symbolism is, and that it doesn't have to be. And I mean, this is actually interesting because like part of our marriage discussion has been brought to the forefront because I wanted access to health insurance through his like company sponsored health insurance, which would undoubtedly be cheaper than buying it off the marketplace, because buying it off the marketplace is extremely expensive. And so now that I've reported my income lower, I get like government assisted, like premium coverage, and premium, like my monthly premium coverage. It's not like super special coverage. It's just coverage. They cover, truthfully, they cover most of my premium. And so I was like interested in getting on his health insurance. And so that was in some ways a reflection of like marriage representing something that gives me access to like affordable healthcare. But it's not my only route to affordable healthcare. Like, I could get a job that is salaried and has health insurance that is within my realm of capabilities. So it's not like I guess I just want to say like the point I'm trying to make is that I am grateful for the like feminism that has brought us to this point where I don't have to get married in order to live meaningfully and move through the world freely. But I was going to use it that way. And I mean, that all said, like there's a reason why we're not married and that I'm still buying health insurance off the marketplace. Like that didn't feel right. And I was kind of blinded by being like, I really want affordable health care. And Colin was like, that doesn't sit right with me. Like, if I get married to you, I want it to be special. And I think that's really sweet. And it made me be like, oh. Like because as I was saying, I had like devalued marriage. And I was like, it's just a piece of paper and it's a product of whatever. Like, as I've said, it's a tool to oppress people. And so hearing him frame it like that, I was like, oh my God, it could be significant. It could be emotionally meaningful. And so that's my perspective on marriage, whatever. Now you know. And so will I get married? It remains to be seen. Will I change my last name when and if I get married? Absolutely not. Because my identity that I have now is mine. I have no interest in like changing it because like I have a reputation as Sabrina Stangler. I'm the host of Gab with Sab, Sabrina Stangler. Would you want me to switch my name all of a sudden? And that's no disrespect to people who do choose to change their name. I used to have the perspective that like, oh, I'll change it if you change it, like if my partner changes it. But I was like, why me? Like, why do I have to be the one that changes my name? Like, because Colin had the perspective originally, and sorry, Colin, to air your dirty laundry, but this is real and true and vulnerable. That's what we do here on Gab with Sab. Is his perspective was like, well, how is our family going to feel like a family? And I was like, if our family is hanging on by the thread of our last name to feel like a family, then like I feel like we have bigger issues, and that it's not going to be our name that makes us feel like a family. Like, I think that is a very shallow view of like a familial relationship or a familial bond. Like, coming from somebody who, again, like child of divorce, only child, so I don't have like siblings that I'm bound my name to, and my mom has a different last name than me because when she got divorced, she changed her name back to her maiden name, as is her prerogative. And so that is to say that like my last name isn't like super meaningful and significant to me in how it relates me to my family, or at least my immediate family, right? Like, that's why I don't think it's necessary in order to have like strong family bond. And so Colin, and for all that, for what it's worth, like has come around to the idea like very quickly. He was like, oh, like this all happened within the first year of our relationship. I was like, I'm not going to change my name. And he was like, why the fuck not? And I was like, why the fuck would I? And I was like, you changed your name. And he was like, well, no, I like my name. And I was like, me too. But it got to the point where he was, in my opinion, coping so hard. And he was like, well, you know, like you don't have a good relationship with your dad. And so why would you want to hang on to his name? And I was like, first of all, it's my name. And he was like, right, you're right. No, you're right. You're so right. And I was like, yeah. So maybe I'll get married. Not going to change my name. Really, really unlikely. I have considered the idea of like a hyphenation or a joint name, but I think that legally I have no reason to actually want to change my name. I can put whatever the fuck I want on my Facebook profile. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need a marriage license to do Stangler Dio Campo. That's well within my power. And so, and they're trying to initiate voter laws that restrict people who have gotten their name changed or whose name is different from their passport. That is fucked up. Let me make sure I speak on that. Those are what are being framed as simple voter ID laws and are things that will restrict the voting population in like meaningful, significant ways that are targeted toward women that are like primarily women as people who are the ones that change their name in marriages, like because we live in a reality where that is true. And oh my God, don't piss me off. It was also for like people who don't have passports now, because not everybody has a fucking passport because it's expensive and it's time consuming, and it permits you to leave the country, which is not something that people like everybody does. Not everybody is like, oh, I have the money to leave the country, because it's expensive to take a flight out of the country, because it's expensive to like live in a place that's not your home. that doesn't take your currency, dude, like, don't even get me fucking started. So, and this actually brings me to another point of, like, talking about politics on this podcast, but there is someone I know who's, like, very vocally a Republican, and was telling me that they watched my podcast and that I should have, like, people whose opinion differ from mine on my podcast, because sharing that debate would be really, like, interesting and meaningful, and is, I think they were posturing it as, like, it's the right thing to do to, like, represent both sides. And I was like, well, see, what you don't understand is that I think I'm right, and I have no interest in platforming not only the, like, opposing opinions, but opinions of, I have no interest in platforming fascism and platforming, like, bigotry and platforming attitudes that seek to keep the systems of power in place that are actively harming people. So, like, make no mistake, there will not be Republicans on my podcast. There will not. I intend to have guests at some point, but I like doing this myself. And you better believe the people that are on my podcast are going to be left-leaning at the very fucking least. But I want to make it clear that I'm, like, that I and the perspectives of this podcast are, like, very leftist. Like, they are critical of the two-party system in its entirety, and critical of the Democratic Party as much as the Republican Party. And so, no, I will not be platforming fascism. It's not important for people to hear that. In fact, I would say it's better that people don't. Like, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that these ideals that are being enacted by our administration are horrible, awful, terrible. They're actively hurting people. And so I think that a government being imperfect is inevitable. What is interesting and what I think needs work is, like, who and how we're sharing that harm. Because right now it's disproportionate to women, to people of color, to undocumented Americans, which I don't even think is the right, like, phrasing anymore. I think that, and let's talk about word politics, because I want to say that using appropriate language is a tool to effectively communicate. The way that we say things matters, and that's really all I have to say about it. Like, I think word policing is different, and saying, like, ooh, don't say homeless, but it's like the choice to say unhoused is to indicate the responsibility in the situation. It's tactical language. And so I'm going to use my words carefully because it's important. It's dare I say, it's crucial. And so when I hear a rephrasing that, like, redirects the responsibility of housing to the government and to, like, the government and, like, just to the community at large, of, like, these, like, people are living on the streets because they've been disenfranchised by the government and the community. Like, if there were access to affordable housing, people would not be homeless. People would not be unhoused. And I'm not, like, access to affordable housing is not a, like, in some ways it's a very simple issue, but in other ways it's complex because it's been so again, like, disproportionately weaponized against Black people, especially in the city of Milwaukee. I fully, like, took a class freshman year talking about the way that housing has been used as a tool to keep Black people as, like, second-class citizens, to, like, bar them from housing, to bar them from accessing, and, like, housing influences your ability to access quality food. Housing impacts your ability to be, like, proximate to a workplace. Housing and, like, your proximity to public transit if you don't have a car. Like, housing is truly at the center of the, like, systemic oppression, or is that systematic oppression, like the functions and the tools that government has. And housing is also part of how, like, your vote weighs into the fucking count. Like, your vote is not, it's not a one for one, because we have voting districts, because we have then, like, redlining that has said, like, we're gonna cut and slice up these areas so that that county ends up red, even if the majority of respondents, like, voted blue or something. And so I'm oversimplifying this because I'm not going to act like I'm super well researched on this. or that I have like citations, but like, let me back up. My citations are my fucking education, actually. I have been educated in this subject and received flying colors in my grades, whatever. So like, I guess I dare you to question me on this. One thing I'll say about my Republican friend, and I say Republican friend in the same way that like when unhoused people would come into our cafes, we would call them our friends, and maybe that's fucked up, I don't know, but we would say like, oh, our friend, like effectively our friend needs some help. It was to reframe like, this is not someone who is who's a burden and a nuisance, but like rather someone who is a member of our community. And again, like tactical language, guys. So my Republican friend, not really my friend, but my Republican acquaintance, maybe, they told me that I have it, like I have the it that like, they were saying that like the it that like people go to LA to try to like develop. They were like, you have it. And they're gonna go crazy for me giving them gender neutral pronouns. Like, they were trying to be like, you know, what's up with the tolerant left, but they're not tolerant of me and my fascist ideas. Like, what's up with that? And it's like, girl, what the hell? No. To be tolerant is not to be accepting of horrible ideologies that seek to harm my community. Like, girl, I'm not gonna act like what you're doing is virtuous. It's not like we believe different things in a way that's just a difference of opinion. Like, there's material harm done by your opinion, and thus I don't respect it. And I like have to see everybody where they're at. Like, I intend to meet everyone where they're at, and I do this with this person in person, but like, what I want to say is that like, it is not an act of hypocrisy to be intolerant of intolerant people, or to be intolerant of, like, I know I'm just like saying fascist and I'm throwing that around, but like, I really want to drive home that like, fascism is not cute. It's not like a difference. Again, it's not like a difference in opinion on how the economy should work. It is a plague of a system. Like, fascism is not going to save us. It's definitely not going to save you. It's not going to save any of us. It's going to keep the people at the top, and it's going to keep harming all of the people below them. It's going to be at our expense. And so like, what are we doing? I'm not going to act like that's a valid point to have. It's not a valid stance. Like, to support the administration as it stands is not a neutral stance. It's not neutral. It is actively harmful. Anyway, whatever. So they said I have it, but who's to say? What do I know? On to a lighter subject. I have a very long driveway, and so again, I'm going to describe aspects of my house. Do not come find me. Do not find me. Don't show up at my house. Don't send me mail unless it's nice. But don't send me hate mail. That's ridiculous. Keep it to yourself. Like, it's really not important that you tell me that via postage. Like, just drop a comment like normal haters. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who go to the extent of sending death threats to people is unhinged. It's like, I think I got desensitized to the idea of death threats for a while because celebrities were starting to talk about it, and they were like, yeah, I get death threats all the time. That's just like part of being a celebrity. And I'm like, and celebrities are speaking up against this and saying that it shouldn't be normal, and I am putting my white sock foot in that camp. I'm putting my boots in that camp. It's sending death threats to anybody, again, not a neutral task. And I would argue that they're not doing anything good for anybody, even if, like, I was sending death threats to Hitler. Like, I'm not actually going to kill him. And none of us should actually be trying to kill each other. Like, that's kind of the whole point. Why are we threatening to kill each other, to murder each other, to K-word, to M-word, to, like, is that not extreme? It's extreme to send a death threat. It's extremist behavior. If any of my listeners find yourself sending death threats, reel it in, reel it back, take a step back, take a breath, maybe drop a comment, but maybe sleep on it. And I do think that, like, being critical of people on the internet and in general is good. Like, I don't think that we should withdraw our criticisms, but we do not need to threaten to kill people. We really need to actually never do that. To me, it's not right. It's just not right. and I think I feel willing to die on that hill. Okay, next. Oh my god. This was all because I wanted to talk about my driveway. So my driveway is very long. It goes like alongside my house, and then the garage is at the back. And so it's very, very, it's like runs, 3/4 the length of our property. And so Colin started backing in, and then I was like, damn, it is so nice to like drive the car straight out of the driveway, because otherwise I have to back out, and then that is scary. And so I've been backing in so that I do the hard thing up front, and it's a little treat for myself later. But I said, my neighbors probably think that I'm driving under the influence the way that I back into my driveway, because I'm so bad at it. I'm horrible at driving. Let me back up. I'm not horrible at driving, but I'm horrible at backing up, and I'm not that horrible because I do it effectively now, like all the time. I'm like getting better at it, but I don't have a rear view camera, and so like I would not say that the 2013 Kia Rio is the gold standard of safety, in that I don't feel like I have great visibility in general. And so backing up, I'm like, it's truly, I told this to my friend Nick today. I said, the fact that I have not harmed somebody with my motor vehicle is my only proof of a deity. I'm like, there must be a God, and I must be in their favor, because I have run the risk of hurting somebody. Okay. It's driving cars is big metal death machines. I've always said that. Cars are fucking crazy. Like, I love my car. Hey, I'm not trying to get rid of my car. I am trying to become more of a public transit queen, but the routes are not great by me. And so nevertheless, I'm relying on my vehicle. And I just want to say, like, I think that we all need to treat driving with the respect that it deserves. We're driving around in big metal death machines. This is why, like, pedestrian forward and like bicycle forward traffic patterns I think are so crucial, because like we are talking about people's lives. Like, it is so easy to kill somebody. It is so easy to kill somebody with that goddamn metal death machine. You know what I'm saying? And so it's scary when I back into my driveway, and that's it. It's just a little scary, but I'm getting over it. I'm being really brave about it. Okay, what's next? I said it's time to talk about Vine, because I haven't talked about Vine on this podcast, I think, at all, which is crazy, because I had an obsession with Vine, and I think part of that was because I was such a big YouTube girl that, like, the Vine compilations were coming up on my feed, and I was loving them. I was eating it up. I love Vines. And so they have, like, fallen out of my favor in recent history, but I, in college, did, like, 100-something day streak of recreating Vines on my Snapchat story. And I watch back on them, and I think I'm glad she was having fun. Like, I'm glad I was having a good time, because they're silly. They're, like, not good renditions. And I also hate hearing my voice back then, because I don't know, it had not dropped. Like, I think that my voice has gotten deeper in like the last decade, and it has not been a decade since I graduated college, but it's been a decade since I enrolled. Well, it's been 9.5 years, whatever. It's been nearly a decade since I began college, since I ended high school, because I graduated in 2016. Okay, shout out 2016, class of 2016, yes. And so that is to say that my relationship to Vine, like, runs very deep. I was also a Vine user before the compilations, and that's to say I'm an OG. Okay, I feel very connected to Vine. I feel that I grew up with Vine being a medium, and I was like, this is how the internet's going to be. Well, I have always said, and like researchers have said, that like creativity with constraints is a great medium to yield new creativity. Like, adding constraints to your creativity only furthers your creative task. Like, it makes it harder, but like being unbounded and unlimited isn't even necessarily what yields like the most like innovative results. And so being constrained to 6 seconds requires a lot of like creativity to execute an idea within that time frame. It's tiny. And so I think that Vine was so special, and I think that it also like is reflective of creativity within constraints, because if the Vine platform had to host longer form videos, it like would have taken more space. It would have been more expensive to run, I'm sure. And so to constrain the size of the videos made it like an easier engineering lift at the time, I'm sure. I'm off the dome here. And so I'm assuming that it was an easier engineering lift, which is what made it like possible back in 2014, whenever Vine was around. And so I was saying I was an OG user. I also did create a few Vines myself, yes. You're looking at an OG Vine creator. Like one of them was like I flipped a snapback hat, and then once it landed, I like cut the video and then cut to my dog being under the hat, and I was like, whoa, and then went to lift the hat off of her and was like, there's my dog, she's really cute. And so it was the what do you call it, not like trick shot videos, but like the kind of like magic videos on Vine went so crazy, where they would like cut the scenes and chef's kiss. And I have gone back to watch compilations recently, and I was like not as enamored by them as I once was. And I also regret to inform you that many Vines have been lost to time. I know Vine like was up and it was hosted because like Twitter bought Vine, and they kept it up. But then, so like if you knew a username, you could like go to that URL and see their profile still. But unless you knew the username, there was not a way to like browse users or like have a feed. And so then Twitter sunset Vine, and now it's gone. And so there are Vine compilations, but those are not searchable yet. They're not searchable yet. And I think that kind of technology is probably close. Like given the capabilities of AI right now, like I think that is within our near future, to be able to search videos on YouTube by like transcribing them and like searching the content of them, and maybe even being able to like recognize like what's going on in a video. And I could say like do a video where you throw a basketball at a white kid and then they yell crackhead kid, not PC term crackhead, but the crackhead kid. No, the crack kid. But it was either way, it was because you hit him and he's like, yeah. And so I don't know, there are a lot of iconic sounds that came from Vine. I just think that we should pay homage, you know what I mean, like homage to the social media that was like ahead of its time, and that platformed a lot of creators who are big now. Okay, I have another thing to be critical of, and it's fees. I was talking to my friend Cotter about this, and we were like, it is just so absurd that fees has become like a default in the way that ads have become a default and like a way to make money. And so like imagine you're a startup and you're in an incubator, and they're like, how are you gonna monetize your product? How are you gonna monetize your service? And they're like, you could do, and I'm imagining this is what they fucking teach in business school, right? Like I don't know what they teach in that kind of degree, but I have to imagine they're like, okay, there are ways that you can monetize, and it's ads. There's the ways that you can monetize, and it's fees. There's a fee structure. It's commonplace to do this, that, and the other. Like fees have become so commonplace, and I hate it, because it's like, this is just like bitching for bitches' sake. It's just kind of annoying, and maybe that's why I like paying for YouTube Premium, because I feel like getting microdosed with things like fees or with things like ads is just a worse experience, and so I'm willing to pay up front to not have that experience. That being said, I don't pay for any streaming services right now, and if I did, you better believe I'd pay for it without ads, but I'm not paying for it. So like right now, if I were to pay for Hulu or something, I would probably do it with ads, because I would be trying to save money. But if I like could afford to buy it without ads, I would buy it without ads. Like, and that's how they get you. Anyway, we're going to take a little break, and I'll be right back. Well, maybe not. All right. We're actually going to end the episode here, because we have said enough, I've seen enough, and y'all have heard enough. And with that, we'll address the content shout out of the episode. And I can't keep shouting out Woodland Pureville, but I am going to continue to shout out Woodland Pureville because they're making great content. And if you have not indulged up to this point, get into it on Instagram, YouTube. I think they do a lot of content on TikTok, but I am not an avid TikTok user, so I wouldn't know. But I'm sure it's great over there too. And we'll do a real shout out that is go follow the Go Fish Talent Instagram. Go Fish is the music organization, the music management biz that I run, and so we're out there shouting out our artists and like platforming other content. And so it's a good source of Milwaukee music and music in general. And yeah. Ooh, actually I have a real shout out, and it's the Gaydar Show. It's either the Gaydar Show or Gaydar Show on Instagram, and I'm sure on other platforms, but I watch it on Reels. It's Anania, and they are making great content there as well, where they are like they have guests and ask them questions, and it's silly and funny, and it's queer, and it's they always have really excellent outfits, like very elaborate looks, and they have fun guests, and I don't know, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I would recommend. So with that, we have our action items, which are to go stream Modern Haunting, to go stream Lizzy McAlpine, and to go stream Charli XCX. And then we're going to follow Woodland Pierville, not Woodland, is their at, not Woodland. WILDLIN, Wildlin, if you need it phonetically spoken. So them and the Go Fish Talent Instagram and the Gaydar Show with Anania. There we go. And with that, I'll see you in the next episode, where actually I will give you a hint as to what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the threshold of fame that moves us from rooting for them to expecting responsibility for using their platform. The idea that it's right now, and that kind of concept. And then finding yourself and other people, and how nice is that? Anyway, thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I know I have a lot of asks of you. I have a lot of asks, but I think you can handle it. That's what if anything, my viewers are capable. So get to it. Thank you. See you next week.